Hi there, this is James August. For orchestration and arranging, we need to talk about the different instruments. Since I play a horn, we're going to talk about everything horn. Horn is the typical horn range for a student is basically 2 octaves, from concert B flat on the second line of bass clef to the B flat on the third line of treble clef. Beyond that range, professionals then will have an octave below and an octave above that. As a rule of thumb, when you're writing for a horn, don't ever go above concert F at the top of treble clef, and you can go down to F below the bass clef staff, but from that low B flat to that F, the range isn't very flexible, so be careful. On horns that are valved, you have 3 valves. First valve, second valve, third valve. Second valve will drop the pitch by a half step, whole step, and a step and a half. On single horns, they only have these 3 triggers, and the horn is most commonly tuned to F. It's rare, but you'll find a single B flat horn. Double horns then have a 4th trigger on them, right there. This will tune the instrument. This will drop the tuning or raise the tuning from F to B flat. So your open pitch on the F side is going to be concert F, or for horns C. Whereas on the B flat side, the open pitch becomes B flat. Triple horns then have a 3rd trigger on them, which I don't have triple. They're extremely expensive, but that 3rd trigger acts as an octave. We also have what are called natural horns. Natural horns don't have valves on them. It's just one big ol' slide, or one very large tube. And instead, they have an individual tuning slide for each key that it needs to be playing, what we call crooks. So you have an F crook, an E flat crook, a D crook, a C crook, a B flat crook. You have an H crook, or for the key of B, and there's probably a couple others as well. A good example of the use of the E flat crook would come out of Beethoven's 3rd Symphony Eroica. In the Scherzo section, there's a trio section where horns 1, 2, and 3 all play along the overtone series on the E flat crook. For example, the horn 2 part does this. Generally, as a horn player goes higher in his range, the brighter his tone becomes, and the lower in the range he plays, the lower the instrument, the darker the pitch becomes. So higher and brighter, darker and lower. Because horn has a very mellow timbre, it's often used to blend different timbres from different families of instruments. So it'll bridge the gap between strings, brass, and woodwinds very nicely. So much so that there's even in a traditional woodwind quintet, you find a horn. Like most brass, horn has a very wide range dynamically. So they can get very loud to the point where it's almost ear-splitting, but they also get really, really quiet where you can barely hear them in the first place. Horns have a neat trick called stopped notes. Stop note is when the player's hand blocks off the bell completely. What this does is it condenses the sound waves as they travel through the instrument, so it raises the pitch half a step. So if I were to play concert B flat, that's what it sounds open. Now if I were to play that same note stopped, it comes out as an F sharp, as a B natural. So in order to play the note that I need to play, I finger it as the note below. So to play my written F, concert B flat, I need to finger it like it's my written E. Now to notate that when you're actually writing it down compositionally, you notate the note with a plus sign above the note that you want stopped. Horn parts very often will have offbeat syncopation. I mean, polka music, marches, and cha and cha and cha cha and cha cha and cha cha. Very common. If you're looking for solo work or even giving a melody, the horns do very slow lyrical melodies very well. Back to syncopation, we do when you're doing fast syncopated rhythms, we can do that, but we do it really well when you stay on the same pitch or stay in the same area. And when you start jumping beyond a third, it gets really tricky. It gets muddy.